Let's see what happens with the 77 of Hocevar. Oh boy, just deep into the corner.
And look who he runs into.
Please tell me it's not the
47. These guys are going to definitely brawl
I'm going to
tonight.
tell you.
Yeah.
Ricky Stenhouse, I think, didn't like what happened in Nashville, but he definitely isn't going to like what's happening here. That is not going to work between the two.
That's going to definitely have some implications post-race.
Stenhouse.
Implications. I like how you say that.
We saw Ricky Stenhouse and Hocevar getting in it today. Let's see what happens here post-race. Ricky upset. Ricky's had enough. He's had enough.
The foundation for that laid a couple of weeks ago in Nashville, and the carryover is real.
Carson Hocevar definitely was not making Ricky Stenhouse any happier, especially after his accident at Nashville. Hocevar got into Stenhouse and turned him into the outside wall. Stenhouse was already upset with him. And then just a couple weeks later when they headed to Mexico, he wrecked him even worse because Hocevar was a lap down and Stenhouse was not. Unfortunately for Ricky Stenhouse, Carson Hocevar would overdrive the corner and spin him out. This would cost Stenhouse multiple positions on the track, and the steam that was coming out of Stenhouse's car was probably from his helmet and not from the engine.
That looked like it came out of nowhere. What happened out there with Junior?
I don't know. He'd have to ask him. I just gave him a lane to try to let him go on the outside because I knew he was going to have a run off the corner, and I got run in the back of and spun out down the back straightaway for absolutely no reason, and it was, a pretty stupid move on his part. And obviously, I'm sure these guys that he's going to be working with next year don't really appreciate this because they've got a championship they can win this year, and he doesn't. So, I don't know what what he was thinking really or what the problem was, but just is very, very unfortunate for all these Kellogg's CarQuest boys, and the guys do such a great job. We had an awesome car. I thought it was going to be a car that was going to be a top 3 definitely, if not maybe a winning car. Just cruising there, riding around, minding my own business on the bottom, and just got run over.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. never really got into a lot of competitors on the racetrack during his time in NASCAR. He never really ruffled any feathers or got into any confrontations. But in 2007, after announcing he was going over to Hendrick Motorsports and replacing Kyle Busch, he accidentally wrecked Kyle Busch down the backstretch, and I don't know if it was even on accident. It could have been intentional. Interviews say how displeased Earnhardt and Busch were with one another, so it wouldn't surprise me if Earnhardt just didn't give Kyle Busch any room because how upset he was with the Busch's comments on and off the racetrack of how he felt of Junior taking his ride.
I don't blame you. As soon as he comes out of that trailer, he's getting his ass.
The 2012 championship battle between Jimmy Johnson and Brad Keselowski were at an all-time high in the closing races of the season. It was a neck-and-neck fight, but who was on the verge to beat both of them? It was actually Clint Bowyer. Bowyer was only a couple points back heading into Phoenix, and with Johnson's early trouble, this put him in a prime position to capitalize and earn some great points heading into the championship race. It was up until Jeff Gordon would intentionally crash Clint Bowyer, knocking him out of the race and knocking him out of championship contention.
Busch here. Ooh, close.
Wide into turn 4. That moves Kyle Busch all the way up the racetrack. He has to catch it before he gets to the wall. And Hornaday catches the wall.
Caution's out, caution's out.
Caution is going to come out. Both drivers trying to get by. Looked like the 17 of Timothy Peters. They slid up the racetrack, and now Kyle Busch not happy at all.
It's all good, dude.
And Kyle Busch is going to turn the 33 into the wall. Our championship contender Hornaday in the wall.
Well, Kyle Busch should be parked for this race and maybe the rest of the season for that.
Holy cow, I can't believe he did
Championship
that.
contender Ron Hornaday hard into the wall. Kyle Busch sends him in.
You all right?
Now, we saw him playing games like that at Martinsville, but we're running over 180 miles an hour here.
Window net down on the 33 of Hornaday.
Kyle
Hornaday has to go up.
Kyle squeezes down on Ron, but Ron he's got to be in control of this truck. They both do a little bit of contact into the wall, but I believe those trucks could be repaired and maybe race for the win still.
And the caution has come out now. Right now, the caution is already out.
A little bit more damage on Ron Hornaday's truck. Very minimal damage to that 18 truck. but this is when he's going to show his displeasure to Ron Hornaday. He gets up against him, and he just won't never turn him loose, Mikey.
He's running wide open in the back of that truck, and he finally turns him head on into that outside wall.
Kyle Busch would knock Ron Hornaday out of championship contention at Texas in 2011. Under caution, Busch would full throttle and send Hornaday into the outside retaining wall hard. This would ultimately ruin Ron Hornaday's chances at winning a championship with only 3 races left in the season. Kyle Busch would race often in the NASCAR Truck Series with only wins to gain and nothing to lose. Hornaday, on the other hand, had everything to lose. He was battling for a championship, and Busch took that away from him in a heartbeat in an action because of rage.
Down to the inside. Oh! 4 cars. There it goes.
There's Bodine into the fence. Joe Ruttman spins around. Who's going to win the race? Where's Kyle Petty? Kyle Petty is slowed down. He's going slow.
Caution is
Kyle
out.
Petty's going to win the race.
397. I think Kyle's going to take it home.
Joe Ruttman gets going again. I think he's going to run second.
Car number 3 comes around. All beaten up. Wild finish here at Richmond. Let's take a look again, Benny. Here they were.
They're going down the back straightaway. Earnhardt drives in the right rear quarter of Waltrip.
Takes himself out.
Takes himself out. 26, Joe Ruttman, he can't get through without spinning there. Ruttman gets through, but he spins. Bodine spins in on the outside of the, we see him obscured up there, but he spins and hits the outside retaining wall. There's Dale Waltrip's Chevrolet, and it is torn up.
Gone away.
It's stalled on the back straightaway. It can't go any farther. That's as far as it'll go.
Kyle Petty is headed for victory lane. A disappointed, discouraged Waltrip trying to gather himself up, climbing out. Thought he was going to victory lane. Instead, he's going to take that one over to the boneyard. There's nothing left of car number 11 today.
He did a great job getting up there, too. He and Earnhardt had some swapped some sheet metal down in turns 1 and 2.
Let's go quickly to Jerry Garrett.
Dale Earnhardt, what was your view on what happened in that accident?
Just hung up with old Darrell. We got in the wall.
Close racing all day. Do you think it was going to come down to that?
I was hoping we could race on, but we just hung up. Congratulations, old Kyle. You know, he was sitting in the right place at the right time.
Who do you feel hit who on that last thing between you and Darrell?
I just racing. I ain't going to, me and Darrell's got to race week to week. There ain't nothing to it.
Okay, obviously not too anxious to talk about.
It's crazy how the times have changed in nowadays modern NASCAR. Back then, this was by far the most disrespectful thing a driver can do, and it still is. But right now in NASCAR, these moves are seen more and more frequently. But in the 80s, Dale Sr. wrecking Darrell Waltrip for the lead like this was disgusting. I still cannot believe that NASCAR didn't even hand down a penalty to Dale Sr. or disqualify his finish. But unfortunately for both of them, neither one of them got to pick up the victory, as Kyle Petty would be the one to do that.
Where do you time that out? Oh, as you see the 19. Oh, what a save! Oh, no!
What a hard hit for the 19.
Wow.
Caution out, 10 to go.
Wow. You saw the 19 get the 21 loose, and then as he went by, it just...
Austin was either still chasing it or trying to get back in line.
Wow.
Packs that air, which we see all the time in these Xfinity Series cars. There's the slide. Well,
yeah, I think we'll all see that a little bit differently. I think
NASCAR will probably
I think that'll be looked at for sure again, because it looks to me like he gets straight there for a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be a little frustrated if I was Eric in that situation.
I think that was potentially not just gathering it in.
That was a big hit by Eric, head on into the wall.
Here's Almirola's radio.
100% a cheap shot, 100%.
That was a dirty move, clearly retaliation. All right, they're going to hold us for 5 laps for reckless driving.
Oh, they can go themselves, NASCAR. That is bull. I'm sideways, I go to correct it back to the left, it gets locked to the left, and I can run into the 19.
Well, I don't think that's going to help at all.
Does anybody actually take Austin Hill seriously as a race car driver? Yes, he's good at super speedways, but he has done more dumber things over the past 5 years than any driver in the Xfinity Series I can think of. Right before this accident, 3 months prior, he stood up in an Xfinity Series drivers meeting saying he wanted to be the leader of the garage area and be the role model. This is not how you become a role model. Right hooking somebody into the wall? Completely unacceptable. And to make it even worse, he even chewed out NASCAR after he was handed down the penalty. He is just a complete idiot race car driver for doing stuff like this. It's completely unacceptable, and it is completely wrong to do.
Right now, he's got a little momentum.
Again, to the bottom of the racetrack. Under 5 laps to go. Kyle Busch hooks the left side. He takes the lead there into the wall. Kyle Busch into the wall.
Outside.
All the way up to the wall, and the caution comes out. He collects the 3 of Ty Dillon.
Inside him, gets the power down, tries to clear the 22 off the corner. The 22 has to contend that. He has to try to take that momentum back to the outside, and the 18 has to try to close the door. In my mind, that is purely a Bristol racing incident. I think both drivers are doing what they had to do to win.
Steve Letart's right. This is doing something what you had to do to win. But unfortunately, it was between Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski. These two drivers have been at odds ever since their careers met in 2009. Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski have never agreed with each other on the racetrack. The amount of times they've ran into each other is honestly endless. I feel like I can't even count them off the top of my head. And at Bristol, it's happened multiple times. And in 2016, when battling for the win, Kyle Busch just wanted to clear himself off of Keselowski, it looked like. And it seemed like he could care less if he put Keselowski in the wall. But unfortunately for Busch, he would be the one hitting the wall, cutting his tire, and ending his night immediately.
Nelson, I don't know, for 15th place decided he was going to move me, ran us up into the wall, did way more damage to our car than was already there. And when I went to talk to him, he just pushed and shoved me and then kicked me below the belt, which I think is just a chicken move. And I don't know. I guess we'll move on. Proud of these guys. They fought hard. We didn't have a fast enough short lodge Camaro to do what we wanted, and we were just trying to limp home and get what we could.
Ryan, how do you deal with situations moving forward? You guys are going for the championship together every single week. How do you put it behind you, especially at a place like Talladega next week?
Yeah, this isn't just this race deal. He's got an issue with me from I don't know when, and he runs into me every week, and I've kind of had it. And a little part of me told me that he was going to hit me for 15th place, and then he did. And I was just showing my displeasure with him after the race, and then things escalated. I went to talk to him. I was a little heated, and then the camera probably shows it, but he kicks me right below the belt, which I think is a below the belt type shot.
This is by far one of the most forgotten altercations I've ever seen in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I had no idea this thing even existed until going through some footage. In 2013, during the Richmond race, Brian Scott and Nelson Piquet Jr. got into each other on pit road after the Xfinity race. These two drivers butted heads on the racetrack, and tempers boiled over after the race.
That was it. At the end of the race, got the checkers, went slow over there, and he door banged me, and I don't take any shit. He did the same thing to me in Martinsville just because I dived in the inside, and I didn't, I never touched him in the back in Martinsville. He got pissed off because of that. I let that go, but I'm not going to take any more crap from him.
He seemed to think that you have a problem with him ongoing. Is there some issue over Martinsville and even past that?
Well, Martinsville, obviously, he tried to knock me off after the race, which I didn't think I did anything bad in the race. I was just aggressive and overtaking guys 3 wide, okay, but I was going in the inside. I wasn't pushing people out, so I don't think that was good. And now him getting pissed off with me again, I'm not going to take it.
Thanks for your side of the story, Alan. Heated up down here on pit road after a very competitive race.
He's sideways, but he lurches out front. The white flag one more time around. Jones gets tagged by the 54. Whoa! Ty Gibbs out front. Jones around. Caution comes out.
It's going to be hard to swallow for the driver of the 19. Let's take a look, guys.
Yeah, they get down into the braking zone, and he just right into the back of the 19. No chance for Brandon to make the corner.
I'm just not impressed. It doesn't take much of a race car driver to run another guy over from behind. It's one thing to hit him in the door or the quarter panel if it's contested, but this right here is squared up, bumper to bumper. Unimpressed. Hit him so hard it buckled the hood.
Yeah, Ty Gibbs punted the 19 of Brandon Jones, and now he's going to celebrate in front of the crowd here. And this crowd is very educated, and we'll see what they think about what Ty Gibbs just did when he gets.
This is by far the worst thing that Ty Gibbs has ever done in his racing career. He's intentionally crashed people sometimes. He's maybe bumped somebody out of the way, but this was completely wrong. Dumping a teammate on the final lap of the NASCAR Xfinity Series race when he was trying to clinch his spot into the Final Four. Ty Gibbs had already had that, but he wrecked Brandon Jones. Ty Gibbs was already having a very successful season, and his teammate Brandon Jones wasn't having that great of a season. He was one lap away to making the Final Four of the championship race, which probably would have helped Ty Gibbs. 2 Joe Gibbs racing cars in the Final Four, but it didn't happen because Ty Gibbs put the bumper to him and spun him around. Ty Gibbs did end up winning the championship, but he was one of the only championship drivers in NASCAR to ever be booed when celebrating.
Remember, he was a car on the bottom, and he just ran Chastain up the racetrack, and then trouble ensued behind him.
Christopher Bell hits the wall as well. We see that in the top corner of the screen, a 20 car.
Yeah, Hamlin, you might want to know, is that retaliation? That's just Hamlin saying, look, I'm not giving you any room. You haven't given me any room. This is a race for the win. If whatever happens, happens. I'm going to go up the racetrack. He didn't intentionally wreck him, but he sure ran him out of the groove.
Denny Hamlin and Ross Chastain were the big rivalry of 2022. In one of the most blatant retaliations and most disgusting ways I've ever seen Denny Hamlin win a race is when he overdrove turn number 2, claimed he didn't touch Ross Chastain, and threw him in the wall. Chastain would end up crashed and ultimately taken out of contention to win at Pocono.
Great racing all the way through, but especially for the lead here. This tire that Goodyear has brought is allowing these guys to race like this. I think he might get him right here.
He's got him. The contact. And he takes the position back. Uh-oh, Kyle, will he retaliate? Yes, he turns him. Joey Logano goes past. He gets through it. The caution is out.
Come on.
And there is damage to the points leader. Don't forget the owner's championship. It was 4 points in favor of that car, the 18 over the 22. And when the 22 was in front, it had switched to a 6-point lead for Penske Racing. And now this.
Talk about eventful. Kyle Busch had an eventful 2019 race at Watkins Glen. So let's break it down for you. Busch would make contact entering turn number 1 extremely early on in the race with William Byron, the number 24 car. After this, Kyle Busch would go down the backstretch at full speed, sending William Byron into the bus stop at a high rate of speed. Byron would lose positions and almost damage his race car with going through the grass. Under caution, William Byron would go after Kyle Busch. He would full send it into Busch's rear end, but Kyle Busch would brake check him, damaging his car even worse. Hopefully, Byron would have learned his lesson from this, that you don't poke the bear, and the bear is Kyle Busch. But that wasn't the only incident he had on the day. Him and Bubba Wallace would make contact on the racetrack time and time again until Bubba Wallace had enough of it. Down the front stretch they go, side by side, banging doors, and Kyle Busch would be spun out by Bubba Wallace as the crowd would erupt in cheers. This day turned from horrible to even worse for Kyle Busch, as he would lose even more positions and create an enemy on the racetrack.
Interesting turn of events that have taken place to start this race.
Listen, when you come to a road course, you have issues with the same people, it seems, every time. Right here at the 18 of Kyle Busch, this seems harmless to me. He gets underneath the 24 of William Byron. I thought this was no harm, no foul. I don't think Kyle Busch likes it. A few laps later, he sends the 24. We saw him go through the grass. We weren't sure how he got there. He got sent by the 18.
Okay. I finished it off. Okay, coast it around. And if I see that 18 come back around here without you knocking the of him, we're going to have a problem.
That was Chad Knaus to his driver, so then you see the damage. How did he get the damage? After the green and white checker, you see the 18 slowing down. William Byron goes up and runs into the back of him to show him his displeasure. The problem is the damage is all to the 24.
And Steve, we've heard this before, the crew chief getting mad, telling the driver to react. Listen, I don't blame you for being mad, but you got to let the driver handle it. If not, you end up with situations like this. Now, who came out on the short end of the stick? William Byron has a car that's destroyed. You got to let the driver handle it the way he feels is best. If not, you can walk into a fight that you end up losing.
You've seen it all in nonstop, and the crowd here loved it when Bubba Wallace got behind the 18 and turned him.
Chaos everywhere around the 2.5 mile 7-turn road course, and it started with a 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson. We know the pressure And you see right here, Bubba Wallace and Kyle Busch beating and banging down the front stretch. A big shot by Kyle Busch. Bubba Wallace says, I don't care, you're done. I'm sending you into turn one. And listen, Bubba Wallace might have become a fan favorite with that move.
Yeah, a lot of contact here, and both drivers very aggressive on the front stretch. And then Bubba Wallace, after the 18 went by him, just decided, well, you're not gonna go any further around this turn. I'm gonna spin you.
Yeah, and this was the second accident in a cycle, if you can believe it.
Yeah, I mean, we remember where Bubba Wallace was turned around in the carousel. I think we know how that all started. Seems to be something going on with these drivers throughout the race.
The other incident you saw was the 48 of Jimmy Johnson got into the tire barrier.
Yeah, I was watching that, guys, as we were all watching it under nonstop.
And there's just not enough space for everyone. The 88 goes in, and this is where the trouble starts. He forces the 3 up. The 3 makes contact with the 24. That is the damage for the left rear of the 24. And then when you get to the other end of the racetrack, I think Austin Dillon says, listen, you may be in the playoffs and I'm not, but you're just not going to run me over. He sends the 88 up the racetrack.
That was an aggressive move into turn one by Bowman.
And look at the guy in the bottom, that bright yellow 22. We're hearing from NASCAR, free pass, Joey.
In 2019, Alex Bowman got turned by Austin Dillon when battling for a position in the middle of the pack. Austin Dillon got fed up with the way he was being raced by Alex Bowman and went into turn 3 and turned him around.
Under the white flag, there's a leader change, and Labonte takes the lead. And meanwhile, Ricky Rudd trying to... Oh, and Earnhardt spins him out. Oh, man. And Tony Stewart is involved with the crash, as is Mark Martin, Sterling Harlan, and several others. Dale Earnhardt takes the checkered flag. Jimmy Spencer ran second. Bristol. Here's a McDonald's winner's circle, Jerry Punch.
Everybody loves to look back on the past and to show how great Dale Sr. was, and he was really good, but he was hated by a lot of fans, and he wrecked Texas Terry Labonte at Bristol in 1999, and it was one of the most controversial moments of his entire racing career. This would be the equivalent of like Denny Hamlin wrecking Chase Elliott, a fan favorite. The man in black spins Terry Labonte out after being raced cleanly. He dumps him immediately in the next turn, and the crowd was extremely upset with Earnhardt. This was a turning of the tides to make it even worse for Earnhardt to become the villain in the NASCAR Cup Series.
That's got to be trouble.
Kyle Busch, one of the chase contenders, has had back-to-back top 5 finishes, and he is head on to the wall here on lap 27.
It's a weird place to get in a wreck right there at the end of the straightaway.
Yeah, he's parked right at the entry of turn 3 right now in the bottom of the racetrack and really has wiped the whole front of that car clear off.
Hearing there may have been some contact on the racetrack. Let's see what happened. Did he have some contact from behind?
Oh, looks like Junior really got into the back of him hard.
You know, this is the difference between this car and the car tomorrow. The car tomorrow, the bumpers line up perfect, and it looks like Junior just gave him just a little tap coming down the straightaway to kind of help pick his speed up, and it lifted the back of his car up, and he just flat lost control of it. It's like a snowplow. Gets under the back of the car and just lifts the rear wheels right off the ground, Andy.
What's going on here? Junior's using that top lane. He's got all that momentum, and I'm not sure that Kyle Busch knew that he was coming on the outside. Wow.
Yeah, I think you're right there. He definitely had the momentum going, and it looks like he could have got him a little tap to get a little assistance down the straightaway like you see a lot. Man, that was a tough one.
If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. Also, if you've liked this video, I'm pretty sure these videos will catch your eye also.